know you guys don't want to sit here and hear me talk about random stuff. You want to hear about, like what do you think about this whole Brian Norman Jr. situation, right? With him as the lead trainer. Now, that being what I'm not entirely surprised, and I already spoke on this a while ago before he even made this decision, and I told you guys what I thought he should do. I like Brian Norman Sr. Like, I love the guy. Love Brian Norman Sr. I was just down there in Atlanta like about a month ago around this time. And great people there at Granite City Boxing. But I was of the mindset that I said, you know what? You keep Brian Norman Sr. around because that is your dad. He does have a level of experience in the fight game where he's walked that path. He's been in there with high level names. He's the one that's taught you damn near everything you know about this fight game, right? And he got you and made you a world champion. So I was never against just canning or just completely getting rid of Senior, but I do think they did need a new voice. And that's what Brian Norman Jr. has decided to do. Now I don't know what exactly he's planning on doing. I'm not sure if who's a lead candidate or anything like that. But there's plenty of great trainers out there. I'm sure you guys are gonna give your own suggestions in the comments, and I'll read those soon. But like I said, I think, and even Junior himself, because I sat there and I listened to the whole interview with Cigar Talk. Shout out to Najee. It was a good interview. I sat there, listened to the whole interview. He said it himself. He's like, this fight with Devin Haney, it was a fight about ego. I was very egotistical, and I didn't have that healthy respect for my opponent. I didn't think that he could really hurt me. And the first round, you go back and you watch the first round, I thought Norman won the first round. He did pretty good. He boxed behind his jab. Devin Haney wasn't really throwing any punches. And then Senior just said, go out there and just go get him. Just go. He ain't got shit with him. He ain't got no firepower. He can't crack at all. And that's what got Brian Norman hurt. And so that being said, that I think that knockdown really changed the complexion of the fight, and it put Norman Jr. in a position where he had to chase the fight. And he said it himself in the interview. He was like, look, in round 3, it just felt like Devin was in his rhythm. Devin had gotten in his bag. Devin was now executing his game plan on me, and I had a hard time really just getting to do what I wanted to do on a consistent basis. So I hate to see it, because one thing about me, being that I have such a great relationship with my dad, I'm always for, like, I'm telling you right now, I'm always pro fathers in boxing, because I know how grueling and I know how unforgiving this fight game is from the business standpoint, from the fighter standpoint. Like, I've been around like high level camps. I've seen some really fucked up things behind the scenes in this boxing game. So I'm always pro father, because nobody in the boxing game is gonna love you or protect you or have your best interest like your father. But what I also know is that there's a lot of fathers in boxing that sometimes they it can run its course. Look at a guy like Danny Garcia, who was a very good fighter. Danny Garcia was a very good fighter. Probably could have had a better career, and probably could have won some fights, could have grown a bit more if he had maybe added another guy to his corner. But you know what? He was loyal to his dad, and I respect his decision. But it did put a cap on how far he could go. Junior has made a decision here, and he said, you know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna keep him around because it's still his dad. Like, you can't get rid of your dad. His dad's still gonna be around the team. He just won't be the head voice. So I'm really intrigued to see like who he brings to the table, because Top Rank, according to Norman Jr. in the interview, he said that Top Rank's called him recently, and they're looking at dates for March, April. So he's going to be active again. They haven't canned Brian Norman Jr. They haven't thrown him to the wolves. They haven't said, hey, get away from us. They still want Brian Norman Jr. as part of the Top Rank family, and they believe that they believe, like me, that he is still a welterweight with a lot of value. And Brian Norman Jr. also made it clear that, look, I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to grow from this, and I'm going to get that Devin Haney rematch back, and he's going to have to come see me again. So we'll see how that goes, because the division is starting to get a little bit deeper. You got guys moving up to 47. I know Keyshawn Davis is targeting with the 147. And I think, look, I've already spoken on this before, but we'll go to screen share, and I'll bring it up again. Just so you guys understand, for those of you who didn't hear me say this about a month ago. All right, so you have the news. Brian Norman Sr. and Brian Norman Jr. are no longer, I'm sure he's going to be around. Like, I'm sure he's going to be around. He's going to train at Granite City Boxing unless they change. I mean, I don't know. He didn't mention like what gym he was going to go to or anything like that, but I'll be led to believe that he's probably still going to be training at his original gym down there in Ellenwood, Georgia, Granite City Boxing. And so if that's the case, Senior's still going to be around. But Senior will not be leading the charge. You know, that's the route he decided to go. And, you know, they spoke about it. And, I don't know how Senior feels about it. But Junior is like, you know what? I got to do what's best for me. And I want to win. And he probably feels like, you know what? His dad has taken him to a great level, but he can't take him no further than he's already taken him. So he's looking for other answers, right? So that's his decision. We'll see if it's the correct one as time progresses and moves on. But, right, when you look at the welterweight division, and I've already talked about this. I made a whole video about this, but I'll talk about it again because it's worth talking about now that this news has come in. I don't think Norman is getting an easy fight his next fight. I don't. I think, like many top-ranked fighters, well, am I on screen share? Make sure y'all on screen share. Okay, cool. We're on screen share. Make sure y'all smash that like button, okay? Make sure you guys smash that like button. It's True School After Dark. Brian Norman, like many top-ranked fighters, is going to go the WBO route, right? We know how it is. Like Bob Arum and the WBO, they're like this. And so you see him right there. He's coming in there at number 4. Now, when you look at Brian Norman Jr., I really think it's only 2 fights that could be made, maybe 3. But I'm going to say with him there at number 4, I don't think he fights Karen. I don't. Because nobody's manager is going to let their fighter fight Karen unless they have to. Not because Karen is this killer, but because Karen has a difficult style to deal with, and Karen might actually fuck around and beat you, right? And so you don't fight a guy like Karen until like it's an eliminator or something like that. He's just one of those guys, right? Norman is there at 4. He's not fighting Pacquiao. We know that already. So that leaves you with Polanco and Tiger Johnson, 2 top-ranked guys, 2 very formidable opponents. You got Rohan Polanco, Dominican Olympian, can punch, can counter punch. He's athletic. That's a fight I actually want to see. And I'm hoping that if they do that fight, I would like to see Brian Norman have a homecoming fight in Atlanta. I think that'd be a good fight. I think Polanco's going to come and bring the fight to Norman. It's going to be more of the fight that Norman wants. And it'll be an entertaining fight. And it's a fight, against an undefeated guy. And it's a fight where if he's not careful, if he hasn't maybe done his due diligence in camp, he might lose that fight because Polanco's a multifaceted fighter. He's got a lot of amateur experience. He's a Dominican Olympian. Like, he's not no pushover. He's not no bum. He's not no can, right? So I like that fight. And then also Tiger Johnson. This is a guy in Tiger Johnson that for a long time was underwhelming. You could probably say that Tiger Johnson was fighting in the wrong weight class down there at 140. He moved to 47, and he's looked better as a welterweight. He fought Nicholas Flaus, a guy that people are looking at as a legitimate, contender in the welterweight division. A lot of people didn't think Tiger Johnson was going to beat Nicholas Flaus. I did. I picked Tiger Johnson just because I thought he was better than Flaus, and he's fought at a higher level and those kind of things. But he's a very confident fighter, and he's got a lot of great experience too. So I think those are probably the 2 realistic fights. But I could also see a scenario where maybe Brian Norman gets matched up with the number 1 contender. Maybe Top Rank says, you know what? You got Jack Catterall as number 1. Go do that fight. Catterall, southpaw, can counter punch. He's trained by Bozy Ennis, who's a great trainer in his own right. That kind of would open up the Boots Brian Norman. I guess the wounds of the Boots Brian Norman rivalry. So there's kind of a storyline there, but I think he's probably gonna fight Polanco or Tiger Johnson next. And and I look forward to seeing who he picks as his trainer. I know, like, I've been reading a lot of the comments, and a lot of people have been saying like, oh, he should go train with Derek. I've seen like Derek James's name floated around out there. I've seen a lot of interesting names, but I'm looking forward to seeing like who the actual appointment is going to be. So we'll see how it goes. But either way, I look forward to seeing how the mouth of the South, Brian Norman Jr. rebounds. Let me see who we got. Let me go ahead and read some of these comments. We've got 20 comments. Being on the storm, my man Josh says he thinks it's a good decision that Brian Norman Jr. has made. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. Because his head trainer can teach him some new things and tricks, and he can give Norman a new perspective in the sport of boxing. Yeah, I mean, look, sometimes, not even just in boxing, but in life, like, you could. Sometimes you need to hear a new voice. You need to get new ideas, get new perspectives, and I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. That will be an exciting fight. we'll get to him later. I have a lot of things to say about Dalton Smith later on. Shout out to Dalton Smith. I had a great time covering this fight. I would like to throw in Shane Mosley or Buddy McGirt as names I think would be great fits for Norman. Buddy McGirt, very well schooled trainer. We saw Frank Martin rebound after a long layoff and get a big knockout against Bartholomew. Now his name's back in the mix. Buddy McGirt has a long history of taking fighters coming off of very low moments in their career and getting them back on track. Look at like him with Arturo Gatti at one point in his career. Look at him with Sergey Kovalev after the loss to Ward. Look at there's been a lot of guys. My man said Norman did the right thing, letting his dad take a back seat. His dad enjoys the media a lot, which is great for us, but not for his son. His son is definitely more introverted and down low. The dynamic between Brian Norman and his dad, like as far as their personalities, it reminds me a lot of me and my dad. Because my dad, I'm very extroverted when it comes to boxing, like talking to you guys, talking to people in the fight game. When I go to fights, I love boxing, so I naturally just get really excited and light up when I get around people that share that same love with me. But generally speaking, I'm very to myself. I don't like I got maybe a handful of friends at most that I've known my entire life, and I don't really talk to too many people if I don't have to. Norman, their dynamic reminds me a lot of me and my dad, and I think it's very similar to like Danny Garcia and Angel. The dad is more extroverted, the sons are a bit more to themselves, introverted. You understand? So I understand that dynamic to a T. Because you guys know my dad will talk to this wall. He'll talk to this wall, talk to you guys, he'll talk to the dog, he'll talk to everyone. Me, I'm a bit more measured and calculated, and I like to stay to myself. So I definitely agree, and I definitely get it. Damn near everyone is being trained by their daddy these days. I feel like it's one of the best things. Like, I know not every dad is a great trainer, but I feel like I said, no one is gonna have your best interest for you in this fight game more so than your dad. Yes, a lot of dads have done damages to their son. But like I said, for me, I'm always pro father in boxing because I know how cutthroat matchmakers are. I know how cutthroat managers are. I know how cutthroat just the behind the scenes people are. Maybe a lot of you guys I know aren't privy to that kind of stuff, but I am, and I know. So you need someone like your father that doesn't give a fuck about these people, that's gonna maybe step on some toes to make sure that you're okay, that you're good. So I'm always pro father, but I get it.